Gaston Alfonso Browne is the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Corporate Governance, and Public-Private Partnerships in Antigua and Barbuda. He is a graduate of the University of Manchester, the United Kingdom, with a Master of Business Administration, majoring in banking and finance. He served as commercial banking manager for a major banking consortium in Antigua and Barbuda, comprising offshore and onshore banks and a trust company, managing in excess of 400 million US dollars in assets. He became an elected member of parliament in 1999, representing the constituency of St. John City West, and has been re-elected in 4 subsequent general elections. Prime Minister Browne is well known for his philanthropic work, which is seen through his contributions to the empowerment of the Point and Villa areas within his constituency. In 2012, he was elected as leader of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, which he steered to victory in general elections in 2014, becoming Prime Minister. His Antigua-Barbuda Labour Party won again in March 2018, increasing its representation in Parliament. Between 1999 and 2004, he served as Minister of Planning, Trade, Industry, Commerce, and Public Service Affairs. While in opposition in Parliament between 2004 and 2014, he returned to private sector as a businessman and launched several successful ventures to include real estate development and real estate management. Prime Minister Gaston Browne has also published a number of academic and policy-based papers, his most recent being Ending De-risking in the Caribbean, Eliminating Risks for the World. On becoming Prime Minister, the Caribbean heads of government appointed him to take lead responsibility for financial matters, cricket, aviation, and de-risking in the quasi-cabinet of CARICOM. Prime Minister Browne is married to Member of Parliament Mrs. Maria Bird Browne and is the father of 4 children. He has special interests in soccer, cricket, and yachting. Prime Minister, a warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Charmaine, for your kind introduction. You may have to update my CV. I am soon to be the proud father of a 5th child.
Oh, wow.
But I am anticipating the 5th member of my I should say my progeny. That should happen hopefully within the next 30 to 60 days. So you may want to keep abreast and to make sure that you update my CV accordingly. And in terms of publications, you may wish to know too that I just published Liat, Rising Like a Phoenix. This is my latest publication, which is designed to reorganize Liat. It's a plan to reorganize Liat. Anyway, I'm not here to gloat about any successes or any achievements or contributions. But in essence, to give a brief address to our distinguished guests. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is certainly a pleasure to be given this opportunity to address you on our CIP program and possible investments here in Antigua and Barbuda. But let me first of all give you a brief synopsis of the region. The Caribbean region is known to be a region or a zone of peace, a zone of peace and tranquility. So within this region, we enjoy strong political stability, economic stability, and even social stability. Most of the countries within the region, they are middle-income countries. However, Antigua and Barbuda has distinguished itself among the countries offering CIP programs within the Caribbean. So for example, you'll find that within the Caribbean region, we boast one of the highest per capita incomes in the Caribbean, in the region of 20,000 US dollars per head, a feat that is shared only with St. Kitts. And on the other hand, too, we have the fastest growing economy within the region. We have consistently for the last 6 years, since my government came to power, grew the country's economy by an average of 5% per year. And in 2018, we actually posted a growth rate of 7.4%, which was the 10th fastest in the world. And this is due to the fact that we have a very entrepreneurial government, one that is strategic in its orientation, and one that is also innovative and creative, and as a consequence, notwithstanding the vulnerabilities of the country, we have been able to outperform every single country in the Caribbean in terms of economic growth and even development. In fact, our development is such that we have a superior infrastructure compared to any other country within the Caribbean that offers a CIP program. So, for example, we have easily the best airport facility within the region. We have one of the most modern airports with jet bridges. We, within the last 18 months, would have spent close to $100 million to expand and to enhance our cargo port facility, which by next year, I'd say the first half of next year, the end of the first half of next year, will become one of the most impressive cargo facilities within the Caribbean to facilitate, logistical movement of goods throughout the region. We also would have spent a significant amount of monies expanding and renovating our cruise facilities. In fact, we are building a 5th berth presently so that we can accommodate the largest ships in the world. And unlike many countries within the region, we have a total separation from our cruise and cargo facilities. So the cruise ships, for example, they have their own berthing facilities, their shops, and so on. And we also have an agreement with Royal Caribbean, which is one of the largest cruise operators in the world, to commence early next year with the construction of the largest marine facility, to include the largest pool in the Caribbean, to facilitate the guests. That will be $100 million investment. We have already signed off on the agreement, and they're now developing the plans. So that too will help to differentiate Antigua and Barbuda as an island with a superior infrastructure among other countries within the region. Now, we also share with St. Lucia, the largest economy within the OECS, and that is despite the fact that St. Lucia's population is 1.5 times that of Antigua and Barbuda. So it shows that we have done extraordinarily well in terms of advancing the country, improving the living standards of the people of Antigua and Barbuda, while at the same time growing our country's economy at a very rapid rate. Now, obviously, in terms of social stability, our country enjoys one of the lowest levels of crime and violence within the Caribbean. As at the end of last year, I think we had just about 3 homicides. And on average, we have had less than 10 for the last 6 years since we've been in office. So again, individuals can feel very comfortable living in a peaceful environment, in a very safe and secured environment. Now, among the infrastructural superiority that we enjoy, we have 2 medical schools, and we also have a campus of the University of the West Indies. We're the only country within the OECS Caribbean that offers CIP investments that enjoys a campus, a university campus. So that too is an added aspect of the infrastructure that investors could feel comfortable that their children, if they had to relocate here temporarily, that they can enroll in our university. And by the way, the University of the West Indies is ranked among the top 4% of universities globally. So this is a well-established university that has been operating for about 70 plus years. And, we have one of 4 campuses, and it's the only one within the OECS Caribbean among the countries that offer CIP investments. We also enjoy the fact that Antigua and Barbuda is a melting pot. We have individuals from all nationalities living here. I'm not aware that there's any country that is not represented here in terms of being a citizen or a resident. In fact, more recently, we would have seen a significant amount of Filipinos who have taken up residency here. I'm told, for example, that within the last year, there are about 600 work permits that were granted. I'm saying that to say that our people are very embracing of new residents and new citizens. And I'll go as far as stating too, and this is factual, irrefutable, that there is no other country within the Caribbean that is more representative of the Caribbean than Antigua and Barbuda. In fact, our indigenous Antiguans, and I say indigenous in inverted commas, they constitute probably about maybe 40% of the country's population, and the remaining 60% comprises individuals of different nationalities, the larger portion of which are CARICOM nationals. So in terms of a true melting pot, one in which individuals from different societies, different ethnicities, and so on are literally integrated and working harmoniously, there is no other country that can boast that type of cultural diversity and certainly the level of cooperation that we are seeing here among individuals of different nationalities, different ethnicities. And we think that that in itself provides Antigua and Barbuda with a competitive advantage in terms of attracting other citizens and even residents. In fact, one of the things that we did recently, we adjusted our residency program, which required a payment of $20,000 per head. We have now relaxed that requirement for payment of $20,000 so that knowledge workers and let's say high net worth individuals could come here for up to a period of 2 years and be resident here without any requirement to pay any fees. And obviously they can work remotely from here. We think too that it gives these knowledge workers and these investors the opportunity to work remotely in a safe environment. One of the things that we enjoyed too is a superior health infrastructure within the OECS Caribbean. So for example, during the last several months, we would have spent well in excess of about $30 million to build out our health infrastructure to make it more robust, to make it more resilient. So now we have 3 beds per 1,000 of population. It is easily one of the highest within this hemisphere. In fact, there are many developed countries globally that do not quite enjoy as many as 3 beds per 1,000 of population. So it was very clearly that our health facilities are such that we can accommodate a significant amount of individuals, especially visitors coming to the country if they were to take ill as a consequence of COVID. We have the infrastructure to bring them back to good health. One of the facilities that we established recently is an infectious disease center, because we recognize that almost every 2 years, the world is faced with some epidemic or some pandemic constituting some infectious disease. So health infrastructures now must take into consideration bespoke facilities to deal with these infectious diseases that will plague us from time to time. So our infectious disease center comprises a number of beds with 17 beds with all of the requirements, health facilities and equipment to include incubators and other facilities to make sure that we're well equipped to handle any outbreak of COVID that could occur. Now, insofar as COVID is concerned, we have been very successful in managing the spread of COVID. We have imported many cases of COVID. In fact, we're the first country in the Caribbean to have reopened our borders on the 4th of June of this year. And we did so because we felt sufficiently comfortable that our health infrastructure was robust enough to contain the spread of COVID that would have naturally arisen from the importation of new cases from the commercial flights emanating from the United States in particular. We had an unfortunate situation in which about a month ago, we imported 39 cases of COVID from 2 flights, one emanating from the Dominican Republic and one emanating from the United States. And notwithstanding that, because of the robust response that we've had to include the screening, the testing, the contact tracing, and so on, we have been able to literally reduce those cases down to 8 today. 8. And the other countries now who have decided to close their borders because they would have imported a few cases. And that is because, they probably do not have the type of facilities that we presently have in place. So that has been one of our major successes, that we have been able to demonstrate to the broader Caribbean how robust our health facilities are, and how proactive our health officials are in managing the importation of new cases of COVID. So we feel pretty confident that by next week, when we would have tested the remaining 8, that they should be probably, we can't see us having maybe more than about 2-3 cases of COVID. And one of the things that we did recently, we have asked for pre-testing so that we do not have a significant amount of importation of new cases. In the past, we were testing on arrival. We have now decided on pre-testing in order to ensure that we do not become overwhelmed from too many imported cases. So again, our health infrastructure for COVID has been tested and has proven to be resilient. So our country, just like other Caribbean countries, we are safe. Caribbean region, I believe, is one of the safest areas in the world in terms of the lowest prevalence of active cases, and the deaths and so on have been at a minimal. We have had 3 deaths from COVID, and that's because we had 3 very vulnerable people, 2 of whom were already dying, no disrespect to the deceased persons, and they passed because of, in fact, one of them actually died literally within an hour of being taken to the hospital. So these are people who had a number of comorbidities and, from all indications, would have died even without being afflicted with COVID. Presently, we do not have a single person at our hospital, or hospitals for that matter, that are being treated or that is being treated for COVID. And we do not have anyone who is hospitalized for COVID. So we are really in a very good space and have effectively managed the imported cases. So, individuals who would want to come here and live here, and work here, can feel comfortable that they'll be doing so in a very safe environment, and one that is most welcoming to, to visitors. In terms of our actual, let's say, property infrastructure here, I would say that Antigua and Barbuda has the most high-end properties per capita within the Caribbean region. We have a number of high-end enclave communities. So, for example, we have Jumbie Bay. Jumbie Bay is a residential and hotel development. It's a small offshore island. And this is no exaggeration. The smallest property on Jumbie Bay retails for $15 million US, and they retail for as high as $55 million US each. We have at least 2 other such developments that are taking place. One is the PLH property. If any of you are familiar with Discovery Bay, the brand Discovery Bay, it's a US brand. They have properties in Cabo, Mexico, several in the United States. They have one in the Bahamas. The one in the Bahamas is known as Baker's Bay. They have properties in Dune Deck, in Nevada, Wyoming. It's a $3 billion property development, tourism property development company. They are presently spending $300 million US in developing a property, a high-end enclave facility on Barbuda. That is an advanced development. Has been taking place in the last year. They have presently about $60 million US in property construction that are taking place at this time, with a number of other properties to be built. In fact, one of the investors in this project is Jean-Paul DeJoria. He is a major US investor, and he actually was the owner of the tequila brand Perron. He sold it about 18 months ago for $5 billion US. So he's pretty liquid, and he's investing a significant amount of those funds in the project in Barbuda, which is the largest private development taking place in the Caribbean at this time, and will prove to be one of the best, private high-end developments within the Caribbean. We're also building a new airport on Barbuda that is pretty advanced and will be completed by the end of the first quarter of next year. That airport will facilitate jet traffic directly from the United States and other regions. So there's a lot going for the country, even though we are faced with COVID. Our government is an entrepreneurial government as well, so we are also involved in a number of public and private sector investments. We partner from time to time with the private sector both the local private sector and even the private sector outside of Antigua and Barbuda to pursue many projects. We have, for example, as a government, we have investment in 2 banks. We own 80% of the Caribbean Union Bank. We own about 50% of the Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank. That bank has in the region, it's been now consolidated with the Scotiabank branch and will have about $1 billion in assets. And the single largest shareholder is the government of Antigua and Barbuda. We also own the largest insurance company on the island, State Insurance. We are into sand mining, offshore sand mining. We have 40% in a company by the name of Blue Ocean that is involved in dredging. They've been doing a lot of work here in Antigua. They'll be going over to Barbuda shortly and will be doing dredging work within the Caribbean region. We also own 51% of the sole petrol distribution facility on the island, that is Western Oil Company. And we'll be selling a small percentage of the 51% very shortly, and to list that company on the Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange. That company is worth about $125 million. So I'm saying that to say that we're a government that is entrepreneurial and believe in partnering in the private sector to create significant investment value. One of the areas in which we are now seeking to partner with investors is in the development of CIP properties. So you know, and Charmaine will tell you that we have easily the best CIP options in the market, the best value for money. So, for example, our NDF, including all fees, is about $140,000. Our university option is certainly the best value for money in the market, and even our real estate option starts at $200,000 per head per investor. So it's affordable, and the processing times. I have to commend Charmaine. We have had some issues in the past in terms of processing. My understanding, they're now processing applications within a period of 6 weeks. So I think that is as competitive as any, and certainly more competitive than many. So, in terms of a package and having a government that is responsive could probably partner with you. I believe that our government, stands in the pole position. Western Oil Company, for example, they are heavy in the storage facilities. They have about 1.8 million barrels of storage. It is easily the 3rd largest storage facility within the Caribbean. Only Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica has larger facilities. In fact, one of the other CIP countries, Dominica, Western Oil Company provides part of the storage and the retail of petrol products. So we also have an interest, that is the government of Antigua and Barbuda, through Western Oil Company, in the storage and distribution facilities in Dominica, which is also a CIP competitor. So again, we would want to make a pitch for potential investors to avail themselves to partake, or let's say to enjoy the residency option, in which you could literally apply for residency for 2 years, and provided the due diligence information comes out satisfactory, and that the person is a knowledge worker or high net worth individuals, the approval will be automatic. You can actually, make your request to the CIU unit, and they will then get the request to the cabinet, and we will expedite those applications. Because in essence, we want to attract more knowledge workers and more more high net worth individuals, because we want to position Antigua and Barbuda firmly as the most successful Caribbean country. We would have made significant strides in the last several years, but the more high-end individuals we can attract, and the more knowledge workers, is the faster the rate of growth will be, and the faster we'll be able to literally transform Antigua and Barbuda into the economic powerhouse of the Caribbean, which is the aspiration that we have for our country. And we are looking for expertise too in different areas. One of the areas that we recently developed here in Antigua and Barbuda, we have, with the private sector, a firm out of the United States, established a stem cell facility. It is the only stem cell therapy hospital within the region that we know about that will be offering stem cell therapy to individuals within the Caribbean and beyond. And that facility will commence operations next month. It has been fully equipped, and they have employed all the necessary practitioners who will come primarily from the United States. So that's another area within our infrastructure that doesn't exist within the region. We also have a cancer facility here as well that provides treatment for different cancers. They provide chemotherapy, radiation, etc. And one of the things that we do within this within the Mount St. John Hospital as well that doesn't exist within the OECS sub-region is that we routinely perform kidney transplants. And very shortly, we will be adding a cardiac unit as well. So, if someone was to come here on a vacation, or you decide to relocate here, you can be assured that the health facilities here are sufficiently robust and extensive to address your health requirements. So the other area too that I want potential investors and citizens to look at is a possible partnership with the government. We have many beautiful pieces of real estate on the island that is owned by the government of Antigua and Barbuda. We are known for 365 beaches, and that's not an exaggeration. 365 white sandy beaches on Antigua, and in Barbuda we have a number of pink sand beaches. Now a lot of the real estate is still owned by the Crown, so we're in a position, for example, to enter into a partnership to put in the land as equity and even some level of cash as well, and to partner with private sector entities, even individuals outside of the region who may be interested in pursuing, let's say, property development or hotel, to develop these properties, to sell, the units under the CIP. So you can put up the capital to build the units and then back out your capital from the sale of the properties. Again, as I said, we are very, very entrepreneurial, and we want to create opportunities not only for ourselves as a government, as a country, as a people, but also to provide the opportunity for investors to make sustainable profits and to have a win-win situation in which the country will grow faster. You'll be able to provide employment opportunities for people, and at the same time, we can enjoy more robust growth and development. So there are many, many opportunities. And just going back briefly, just before I close, on the issue with Western Salt Company. Western Salt Company is now in the market to partner with any entity that may be involved in oil and gas for storage, even for the development of an oil refinery, one that doesn't result in a lot of pollution. In fact, we just had a proposal from a group, a joint venture group involving investors in the United States and China to develop an asphalt oil refinery, as well as the establishment of an LNG plant. And this LNG plant will not only supply fuel, or power, I should say rather, power to the country under a PPA, a power purchase agreement, but it will also provide power for the cruise ships, because most of the cruise ships now, they have to convert to LNG, and there's no LNG facility within the Caribbean region. So we're now moving to create 13 acres of reclaimed land. That's a project that is taking place right now to expand our port facility, specifically to facilitate the establishment of this LNG facility, which will provide power for local consumption, and as well as refueling for the cruise ships that come to the Caribbean. So there are many opportunities to be exploited here. We are very nimble, we move quickly, and we invite you to partner with us and to become a citizen or a resident of Antigua and Barbuda, knowing that you're getting the best value for money, and that you will be met with the embracing arms of, let's say, the Caribbean people, because Antigua and Barbuda is a melting pot and it is representative of the Caribbean. So thank you very much for this opportunity to address you. And I'm sure Charmaine will give you the details of the various options, and you will come to the conclusion not only that Antigua and Barbuda has a superior infrastructure, but at the same time, it has the best value for money. And when it comes to the integrity of our program, Antigua's program has been voted consistently as the most transparent and the most accountable project anywhere in the world. That is not an exaggeration. So again, I thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to doing business with you. And I also look forward to inviting many of you to become citizens of Antigua and Barbuda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. You know, you have the remarkable ability to pack so much information into a small little bite size for persons to take away. So thank you very much. I'm getting some feedback from the participants. If you could just adjust your camera a little bit, because we only see half of your face. Okay, that's much better. And I have a few questions that came in. One, someone asked if the Prime Minister will make a trade delegation to Nigeria soon.
You know, I'm a little reluctant to travel, but on the basis that we could explore some serious business options, the answer is yes.
Okay. The other question that I have for you, just give me 1 second, let me pull it up. So how can we visit Antigua and Barbuda with the issues of the COVID pandemic restrictions?
Right, so all that is required is for the individual to take a COVID test. On the basis that they're negative, they can enter the country. And there are many properties here that have been designated as biosecured spaces. These are properties, hotel properties, that would have had all of the protocols in place to make sure that there's no transmission of COVID among the guests, and at the same time to make sure that there's no transmission of COVID to the workers there, because we want to make sure that we control the spread of COVID. So again, you take a PCR test, you're negative, you catch a flight to Miami, and you can come into Antigua, or you can go to London. From next month, we'll have flights, BA flights will resume from London. So you have 2 gateways, well, potentially 3, because we're going to have flights from New York shortly as well. So between London, New York, and Miami, those are gateways that you can utilize. Or if you have a private jet, better yet, you know, we'll accommodate you. Just send information ahead, and we will get the airport officials and customs officials to give you a pre-clearance with the understanding that you would have had the necessary COVID certification to confirm that you're COVID negative. And let me make the point here too in terms of Nigeria. I think there's an opportunity exists for us to probably appoint someone who has significant influence within Nigeria to serve as an honorary counsel and to help us to expand our reach. So if, for example, you know, that we are unable to meet physically, that person could be our representative, and we can also use the technology. Let us use Zoom, bring the individuals together, all the interested parties, and let's have a Zoom meeting and to discuss the areas of possible cooperation.
Okay. I see 2 more questions. They're a bit more administrative, so I will take them. But for the benefit of everyone listening, one person indicated that they were refused a UK visa, and if they're asking if they're still eligible to apply. Yes, you're eligible to apply as long as you've been able to subsequently obtain a UK visa. Antigua and Barbuda has visa-free access to the UK, and where our international partners have indicated that they've refused a visa, unless you've been able to obtain a subsequent visa, we're not able to process the application. Another question came in regarding what has been happening in the other programs. The other programs have been slashing their prices as a result of COVID, and someone wanted to know if we are going to follow suit very soon. And to that person and anyone else who has that question in mind, I would like to say that Antigua and Barbuda's program offers you the most affordable investment options, the best value that you're going to get for your money. And at this time, we feel that we are the most attractive, and currently we're not looking to make any changes to the investment amounts. What we've been working on is the ancillary benefits that you're getting, looking at ways to improve the program. We've worked assiduously at reducing the processing time, as you heard the Prime Minister speak about earlier. We're focusing on efficiency and the customer service experience. So you can expect from Antigua and Barbuda even an even better experience once you interact with the program. but as it stands, we are very confident that we have the most attractive offerings on the table. So I see that we're almost out of time. So what I will do is, yes.
Charmaine, can I just add a few comments?
Go right ahead.
On the last
sure.
issue. Right. So, there are a couple of countries, or maybe 2-3 countries within the Caribbean region that are almost exclusively dependent on CIP receipts. The contribution of CIP to Antigua and Barbuda is probably about 10%. The other countries that rely on CIP to the extent of about maybe up to 40-50% of their revenue. I'm saying that to say that CIP for us is a tool to attract high net worth individuals, to get more investments, to get knowledge workers here. And we would not be engaged in any race to the bottom. We want to make sure we protect the integrity of our CIP program. So there's unlikely to be any reduction. We do not wish to get involved in any price war with our competitor nations. And we want to ensure there's stability in the program. We also want to make sure that we do not reduce the prices of real estate and so on. So let's say, you buy a piece of real estate for $500,000, and then based on the reduction in the value on the CIP, that you may eventually see a reduction in your net realizable value a few years later. So that level of consistency and stability is very important for us, and we want to reassure investors that Antigua and Barbuda will not become involved in a price war.
Okay, thank you very much for adding that. Really appreciate it. Definitely, and we really can't afford that. We are promoting a program of strong integrity. So I noticed that we're almost out of time, so I wanted to quickly focus on the exciting options that are here for you in the Antigua and Barbuda program. As the Prime Minister said earlier, you will not find more attractive offers anywhere else, and Antigua is beautiful. The real estate offerings we have are extremely luxurious because of our long history with tourism and inviting more high-end tourists. What you will find is a warm and a welcoming community when you come here, and once you choose Antigua as your citizenship, once you come here, you will meet very warm and friendly people. We have strong and supportive infrastructure, and these are some of the benefits that you cannot find in the other programs. Let's speak about the 4 options that are available. The first option is the National Development Fund, and that is a one-time contribution of $100,000 for a single applicant and up to a family of 4. For all applications, the processing fees are $30,000, and once you exceed a makeup of 4 in the application, then there's an additional $15,000 for the 5th and additional dependent thereafter. If the complement in the application exceeds 4, the investment amount then increases to $125,000. But there are no further increase on the investment amount after 5. So you can have 12, 13 dependents or persons in the application once they meet the requirement or the definition for dependents. The second exciting option is the investment in an approved real estate unit. Now we have 3 pathways to acquiring the approved real estate. The first one, you can acquire a unit for as low as $200,000 as a single applicant. The second one, if you wish to join with another family member, you are able to obtain a unit for a minimum of $400,000, with each applicant contributing $200,000, at least $200,000. And then you may also purchase outright on your own a unit for $400,000 or more. So you have several different layers, several different tiers that may appeal to you based on your desires. The third option is an investment in approved business. For a single investor, the minimum investment is $1.5 million. And for investors 2 or more, you can make a joint investment. The minimum investment then becomes $5 million, where each applicant is required to invest at least 400,000. Again, similar to the National Development Fund, the processing fees are 30,000 for up to a family of 4, and from the 5th dependent onwards, an additional 15,000 is required in processing fees. Our newest option is the investment in the University of the West Indies Fund. Now, Antigua and Barbuda is really proud to state that we now have the 4th landed campus at our Five Islands location. It's been going really, really well. And for this is the most attractive family option that you will see in all of the regional programs. This is a minimum family of 6 individuals. And the contribution under this option is 150,000, and that is inclusive of processing fees. The other options, you pay the processing fee separately, but with this option, 150,000 includes the processing fees. However, from the 7th dependent onwards, you pay the additional 15,000 as with the other options. For this, one member of the family is eligible to obtain 1 year free tuition at the University of the West Indies. So in a nutshell, those are the 4 options. And, I guarantee you that you cannot find better options available in the other programs. The other point I'd like you to take away from this presentation is the fact that our program is extremely responsive, very responsive. We understand that we operate in a dynamic industry and the needs change. And what I can say about the government is that they have demonstrated their willingness to make the necessary changes to accommodate whatever is happening in the industry. So let's look at what's happening now, the COVID-19 pandemic. I have to say that we were very proactive with this. We looked at what was happening in the international market, and we came up with some procedures to assist applicants so that the restrictions enforced on persons because of the lockdown does not affect their ability to apply to the program. So what we've done, we have actually amended the document list, and we have dissected it into 3 different parts. So we speak to you about the minimum requirements to apply for the application. So the priority documents would be the applications, certified copies of your identification. If it is that you are applying on the real estate or investment option, we would need signed copies of the agreement and written confirmation from an accredited university if you have a dependent child who is between the age of 18 and 28. This is what you need just to apply. We've also recently launched our agents portal, which is an electronic means by which you can submit your application. So you can stay right from home, interact with your agent, and electronically upload your application. Because we know that there are a number of agencies that have been affected by the lockdown. Take, for instance, the police departments, you're unable to obtain a police certificate to submit with your application. We will process the application until its very end and wait for that. And then you can submit that police certificate when we are ready to approve. The other documents, such as bank statements and bank statement, you would need to submit that when it is that you've already received an approval and you are trying to transfer the funds. So if you interact with your agent, you can find the agents on the website, www.cip.gov.ag. The agent will actually lead you through the step-by-step process, which has been simplified in order for you to submit your application.
We have lots of opportunities existing here to be exploited, and we welcome you as potential residents and citizens, and we'll ask you to keep in touch with the unit, and we'll be more than happy to accommodate you. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. And thank you to the participants for taking the time to stay with us. You will find that Antigua and Barbuda Citizenship by Investment program is the best option for you, and we look forward to receiving your application right after these remarks. Thank you.